Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Paleo War Thunder. Today, I am going to be giving you the ultimate beginner's guide to Ground Forces Arcade in War Thunder. So, you've probably been wondering, I'm so bad at doing arcade battles. I'm so bad at using tanks. I really want to research better tanks, but it's taking so long, and I can't get any kills, and I don't know why. Then you've come to the right place. So I will be going through all of the reasons why you've probably not been doing as well as you could be. So basically, there are many ways to get better at War Thunder, and there's many modes you can choose from, but in this video I'll only be talking about arcade battles. If you want to see more about air or realistic or even simulator battles, please comment that down below, and I'll try my best to make a video about that as well in the upcoming days. So let's get right into it. So the first problem that you may encounter is getting ammo wrecked way too often. So many beginners and even some pros don't know this, but you shouldn't carry full ammo. You don't need 64 rounds because you're not going to last that long in the battle probably, and you can even resupply at the points anyways. So I recommend carrying a lot less than you need, maybe like 15 or 17 ammo if you have a Panzer 3N like me. For the Puma, I'd say like 15, so on and so forth. So, if I go to the Panzer 3N and I go to the X-ray, you will see that this is all ammo. If you carry full ammo, all of this ammo here is vulnerable, and if a tank manages to hit this area, there's a very high likelihood that if you hit one of these, the rest of these will explode, and then this part will explode. Over here it'll explode, and since the ammo is so close to the crew, it'll also knock out all of the crew. So, if you carry 15 ammo, like I did, then it would be much less of a chance to get ammo racked, because you can like take out this rack of 8, this rack of 3, all of these, and you can just have like one little rack or two little racks here, and you'll still have enough ammo to last for most of the round. Even if you do run out of ammo, as long as your team has 1 point, then you're still able to resupply ammo and be able to shoot again. So now I will explain to you the third tip, which is angling. This is extremely important, especially in nations like Russia and Germany, where they have really good sloped armor, or they have really good armor in general, and you want to make the most out of that armor. So basically, sloped armor is really good on its own, because it's sloped and shells have a really hard time penetrating things like the T-34, but something that will make them better is angling. So I have the Tiger H1 with me right now, and this thing is a really good example of how effective angling is. So basically, angling is where you point your turret at the enemy, but your main hole is tilted slightly, just enough so that the shells will mostly either ricochet or not do much damage. So I will give you an example of that by approaching the enemy. And as you can see, up ahead is a T-25, a Panther, and another Tiger. So I will slope my armor. And let's just see how much better it is if I just do that simple trick of sloping. As you can see, this Panther managed to hit me, but he wasn't able to do much damage. So this is an example of how important angling is when you're using your tank in War Thunder, especially in arcade or realistic, where there are many parts to the tank that will like cause more or less damage, and you really need to protect those components. These shots are all ricocheting due to my sloped armor. not only that, but due to my angling. The next tip is scouting. This is something that you can do for armored cars or light tanks that are over or in tier 2. So basically what you need to do is you have your eye on the enemy, you don't think you can shoot them, then zoom in on your max on the scope, point straight at the enemy, and then press V. This will effectively scout the enemy, which notifies their location to the rest of your teammates and lets them aid you in fighting the enemy. This brings me to the next tip, which is cooperation. A lot of people think that they need a lot of kills, they just need to get all of the kills, and they don't want to share them. So the thing about cooperation is that it allows you to win the match. If you're doing this all solo, you're gonna have a really hard time managing and just a really hard time to just win the match if everyone is not cooperating together and aiding each other and repairing each other. This is really important in all modes, all gameplay, air realistic, air arcade, simulator, ground. All of these really need you to have a lot of cooperation. If you don't have cooperation, your team falls apart, no one is cooperating, no one is talking, no one is aiding each other, and it just proves a really big problem for when you try to win the match, because then you can't really guide the rest of your team, you can't talk to them, you can't help them, and you can't get help from them. Tip, which is using artillery. Artillery is a really fundamental part of this game. It's available when you modify your vehicle and research the trait artillery. This will really help, especially when you're fighting things like a martyr, which is an open top with a really good gun. The problem when you're facing an open top vehicle with a really good gun, M8 HMC, Martyr 3, Whirlwind, these are all examples of open top vehicles. If you're unable to shoot them, and you're out of rounds, or your gun is damaged, then you click 5, and that will allow you to access artillery. Then on the map that is on the HUD, you can simply just click right where the enemy is, and wait for the artillery to rain down upon them. And that's really going to help when you have no other choice. I don't recommend using this too often. Save this for when you're in a really big trouble. Don't try to use this, or just don't, like, rely on this too much. And yeah, artillery. That's a really important, all modes. And I really recommend using it when you're in trouble. So, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this helped with your journey in War Thunder Ground Arcade, and let's see you next time.